Oh, we're live. We are live. Hello. Oh my goodness. Welcome back, lads. It's been a while since I've been live, and it's been a while since I've done a podcast, question mark, but today, oh my goodness, I remembered I'm a Christian anime podcast, and I thought we'd record a bit, considering we have a new season with a bunch of new anime to talk about. So plenty of things to be excited for, I think. But yeah, let's take a gander. Let's take a gander at some of the things that we're excited for this season. I see Suki, or Oscar. Well, you share the same in chat. You share the same avatar as Suki on Twitter. But yeah. Oh my goodness, I'm terribly sorry, but I am still a bit sick, which is why I didn't go live last week. I was going to, but sickness is unfortunate. All right. Do not bother to change name on YouTube. I see. I gotcha. Okay, so let's get started with because I was gonna plan a stream last week to talk about like the end of what was it? Autumn anime? No, it wouldn't have been autumn anime. It would have been give me a second. I'm just gonna double check because this is summer season right now. Oh, it would have been spring anime. So I was supposed to like do a big video doing like all my thoughts. Do a big stream, I should say, saying all my thoughts about spring anime. But I was sick, so I was terribly sick. So yeah. In hopes of not jeopardizing the stream, I decided to wait until now, where I'm not very sick now. I'm just coughing a bit. But anyway, without further ado, let's go and talk about some anime from last season. We've got started here with The Dangers in My Heart, which actually has a very special place in my heart. Because yeah, if you did watch my video, go watch my video on it for my full thoughts on this anime, because I think it does connect to me on a very personal level, The Dangers in My Heart, especially because it just, it really connects to me on a personal level, because it's like, this is the classic male experience, right? It's the classic, it's the general experience that all males will go through in terms of being a bit edgy. We all have our edgy phase. We all have like our phase of like not liking the world, not liking anyone, and then we will also go through this phase of having a crush, and eventually, hopefully, finding a person to fall in love with, to have a family with, and things like that. I think Yamada in this anime, the female lead in this anime, is the perfect representation of that, because she's obviously significantly taller than the male lead, Ishikawa. I think she represents like that motherly, caring figure, and yeah, it's really cute. I find it really cute as well, and that's it because it also connects to me on a personal level. I think that's why I like this anime. But again, if you did watch my video on it, I did say that it has a lot of spicy energy. It has the spicy energy of a middle schooler. And when you do watch it, you will notice that. And that's why I could not, in good conscience, properly recommend this anime to everyone. Because, yeah, it has such a spicy energy to it. Quite unfortunate. But again, it was very cute at times. And I did enjoy it. I settled with a 6 out of 10 for that, and just if you were not aware, on my anime list, 6 out of 10 isn't necessarily bad. As you can see there, a 6 out of 10 means it's fine. I don't think it's good. It's not on the level as good, but I think it's watchable. And I would actually genuinely rewatch this again because of how cute it was. So yeah, that's The Dangers in My Heart. Go watch my video on it if you haven't watched it yet. But yeah, I really genuinely enjoyed this anime. Definitely a surprise. All right, next one. My Home Hero, which I am quite surprised is 7 out of it's an average score of 7, which I've been thinking about this anime a lot. Because I think it has a very good story, it has a very good premise, and the manga is probably a very good manga. But I've rated it a 4 out of 10. Now, I was pondering on this because I was pondering on whether to rate it a 5 or a 4. And I think fundamentally, My Home Hero, the My Home Hero anime is fundamentally a very flawed and very bad adaptation of the manga. Even though I have not read the manga, and I really, I will aim to find out about the manga later on. Yeah, I'll definitely read it at some point because I want to know how it's been presented in the manga. Like, everything in this anime is just fundamentally bad. All the animation, there's some really clunky parts about it, and it's just not good to watch. So yeah, that's why I've not particularly liked My Home Hero. There's a question from Absolute Defender. You should start watch parties on your Discord. I did plan one for Oshinoko, but I decided to stream instead. I will think about it. I was just thinking in terms of copyright and things like that, and I don't really want to advertise copyright stuff. I might, depending on which anime. Absolute Defender. I'll explore that option and see if Crunchyroll is available on like as an activity. I'm sure it is. So yeah, I will aim to. I have been planning to set up a watch party for a very long time now. I think I did try to get Oshinoko, but yeah, it didn't work out as well. But back to My Home Hero. Yeah. Oh yeah. That's another thing with it, which is it tried to leave on a cliffhanger, but there is no way there is no force on heaven or on earth that will cause this to have a second season. So yeah, I think there was a lot of missed opportunity with My Home Hero, and it is a real shame that the adaptation was really, really bad. So yeah, that's why I didn't enjoy it. It was again, I'm sure the story is good at some level. There is some good story there, but it's just not there. Like what in the anime is certainly not showing that. So yeah, quite unfortunate. And yeah, I'm quite surprised it's the average score is as high as that. Some of the top reviews in this is all mixed feelings, which is yeah, everyone's saying here. I think everyone, a lot of people are saying it's a great manga. Not so great, or shall I say, even an even subpar adaptation. So yeah, I'm gonna assume that the manga is probably better. Let's see. Should have it here. Yeah, 7.94 is a manga. That's a pretty good score for a manga. So I am gonna read it at some point, in order to form my full opinions on it. Anyway, moving on to Konosuba Megumin Edition. I think this was trying to be funny. And I think that's the thing with Konosuba, which is Konosuba tries to be funny. Absolute Defender, I'm seeing that particular anime you're referencing, and we will come to that because I have also been enjoying that particular anime. In terms of Megumin, the Megumin edition of Konosuba, I think, yeah, it tried to be funny. I've rated it a 6 out of 10 because it's not, I don't think it's on the same level as its predecessors. I think the animation is absolutely beautiful in this, though. I love the explosions and the way they've done the explosions in Konosuba, but some of the dialogue just stretches out for a very, very, very long time. But I think the biggest appeal of Konosuba Megumin Edition, or I'll say it by its proper name, An Explosion in This Wonderful World. I think the biggest appeal to this is that it's a coming of age story about Megumin. And I think that's the appeal of this anime, and that's why I did enjoy it as well, because it's all about that coming of age story for Megumin. And yeah. Oh, yes. And Yun Yun also played a very, very big role in this anime. And I think it was very cute to see Yun Yun and Megumin, to see where their relationship started. So yeah, again, very, very cute. But not certainly not. I don't think it was on the same level as Konosuba. On another day when if I was feeling generous, I might have given this a 7 out of 10. But for now, I've settled on a 6 out of 10 for Konosuba Megumin Edition. All right, moving on to the oh my goodness, Oshinoko. I have, as you know, I've made a lot of videos on this because I think I really like it. I really am invested in the story, and at some point I will read the manga before someone spoils me. There have been a few spoilers coming my way, and some of those spoilers are quite unfortunate, especially regarding the relationship between Aqua and Ruby. And yeah, I still haven't processed that fully, but I would like to see how the manga handles. I would like to see how the story progresses and how that relationship between these two, the two Hoshinos, go out. But I have been thinking about whether or not is it a 9 out of 10 or is it an 8 out of 10. That's the final piece for it. And just reflecting back on the rest of my list, does it compare to Kaguya-sama Lover's War? Does it compare to Bunny Girl Senpai? Does it compare to Your Name or I Want to Eat Your Pancreas? I think Oshinoko is definitely on that same level because, in particular, I think specifically episode 1 and Akane's small arc, those have definitely cemented it to me as, oh, it's given me the same emotional response as have this other anime here, like Violet Evergarden, definitely Chainsaw Man and Bocce the Rock. It's on the same level as all those anime, so definitely Oshinoko is pretty good, and it's also a Christian anime because I like the questions. It gives us good questions to reflect on regarding revenge and things like that. So yeah, it's good, and I like it, and I really like Oshinoko, and I am certainly looking forward to it. Absolute Defender is saying, "Are you watching My Happy Marriage this season? It is looking very promising." I have seen bits and pieces of it, but I don't think I'll be watching it. Because yeah, I am expecting to be very, very busy in the coming months. So maybe I'll consider it now that you've mentioned it. But yeah, we haven't gotten to our summer anime just yet. Continuing on from the spring anime. Yes, Insomniac's After School, which 6 out of 10 I've rated. And again, it's fine. It's not a bad anime. 6 out of 10 isn't bad. 6 out of 10 is it's okay. I it's still a Christian anime because I think it is cute and provides a positive message regarding companionship and working together in one's issues. And if you've watched my video on that, my review video on that, you'll know that. And I did enjoy it to some level, but I think what differentiates this, what doesn't get this a 7 out of 10, I'm just looking through the anime that I've got. It's not on the same level as, oh yeah, When Marnie Was There, or it's not on the same level as Boy and the Beast, or even Gakugarashi. What else have I rated a 7 out of 10? Yeah, Girls in Panzer. It's not on that level. It's not even on the level of Haramiya, I think. And the reason why I don't think it's on that level is because there are no stakes in Insomniac's After School. Even though I was quite gracious to it, I was quite gracious to this anime in my review. There's nothing really which happens in it. Most of the problems are very, very menial problems. They're very first world problems. I think Nakami in particular, I really don't like Nakami as well, the male lead in this. He's a very, very irritating character, and I don't particularly like him for that. The couple in question as well, usually in a romance anime, there will be a question on, oh, are they actually going to end up together? Or are they actually going to are they actually going to end up being a couple? And while there have been questions on like the health situation of Margarita, there aren't any real stakes in this, which is why I don't think Insomniac's After School compares to the same level as Haramiya or even like Suzume, which I've rated a 7 out of 10. It is on the same level as like Kokoro Connect. What else have I put here? Yeah, even this anime, which it's the anime with the cute girl from Kyoto Animations. I think, yeah, it is on the same level as, even though it doesn't have that same fan service, it's not on the same level as The Dangers. It is on the same level as The Dangers in My Heart in terms of a story which is compelling. So, yeah, that might disappoint a few of you, but I don't think Insomniac's I don't think it deserves that 8 out of 10 average score. It definitely does need to be a bit lower. Which is a surprise because people I'm surprised that so many people on my anime list do enjoy this anime, but yeah, it's not something that it's a very chill anime, but it's not something that's going to give you it's not on the same level as some other really good romance anime. So yeah, there is that. Again, it doesn't take away, like, my 6 out of 10 rating doesn't take away from how cute it is. But yeah, I don't think it's on the level of 7 out of 10. That's all. All right. And finally, the last one from spring is Kubo-san Won't Let Me Be Invisible, but it was actually from winter, but delayed for spring. And I've rated this a 5 out of 10, even though I was very, very gracious on this in my review video, but the reason why I was very gracious is because I know a lot of people do like this anime. It is very cute, but it's average. Like, it's I have rated it a 5 out of 10 because it is average, and nothing really happens in this anime. Kubo-san and Shiraishi, they go and do things. Things happen, but things don't really happen, right? There's nothing in particular that does it. And yeah. Again, cute, but nothing really. It's like, you know, when you're scrolling through Twitter and you see like cute images of anime girls. This is the experience watching this anime. It's basically that, scrolling through Twitter, looking at cute anime pictures. And yeah, that's why I've rated it a 5 out of 10, because nothing really happens in this anime. And I'm sorry to say that, but yeah, there's that. Okay, so moving on to some of the summer anime that we've got. Let's start with My Tiny Senpai, because I've recently just made a video about this, and I have rated it a 5 out of 10, even though I was, very, very, I was gushing towards this anime, and as you can see, the 6.68 average score shows that not a lot of people do like this. This hasn't become very popular. Yeah, I can see these mixed feelings reviews on there. But yeah, certainly it's, despite my glowing endorsement in the latest video, it is a very average slice of life. Very cute, but nothing much really happens, and it's the same, like, you know, very tall guy with a very short lolly being cute, and they're in an office environment, and it's very cute to watch, but nothing really happens. And the third episode in particular, I think the animation, the level of animation and the quality of animation certainly dropped a little for some reason in episode 3. But yeah, I'll still be continuing to watch this because I think it's very cute. And because people on Twitter are very angry about it. And when people on Twitter are very angry about a certain anime, I will continue to watch a certain anime because, yeah, like, you have to support it when people on Twitter are very angry about it. But again, nothing inspiring about this or nothing groundbreaking about this anime. It follows in the same footsteps as Uzaki-chan, and follows in the same footsteps of My Tiny Senpai. No, not My Tiny Senpai. My Senpai is Annoying. What else is in this category? There's a few others in here. There's one more, which I'm trying to think of, but I can't think of right now. But yeah, I haven't watched Uzaki-chan just yet, but I will aim to get to it. All right. So, next anime we're looking at is Haramiya The Missing Pieces. Or just Haramiya Piece. I'm surprised that's the proper English name, which is The Missing Pieces. So, yeah. There is that. Compound Fracture says, cuteness and spitting the libs. Oh, sorry, spiting the libs are very good reasons to watch things. Yes, yes. I own the libs by watching my tiny senpai. So there you go. Haramiya The Missing Pieces. I'm good. I think it's good that Haramiya is back. It's looks like it's been well received by this community as well, with an 8.23 score. I have rated it a 6 out of 10 because for this reason. Because I am in the process of making a Christian anime review video for this. But this series was unnecessary, I think. You know what I think about flashbacks. Because I was very, very angry at Spy Classroom for having like different flashbacks, and oh look, we're going back in time, and it might add something to the story or it might not. And it just doesn't work. It didn't work there in Spy Classroom, and it doesn't work here in Haramiya The Missing Pieces. I know they did want to adapt stories from the manga that wasn't adapted in the main anime, but they could have just done two seasons for Haramiya. They could have done it like a 24 episode deal with the first Haramiya, and this series was unnecessary. I'm quite angry at this because yeah, they should have done 24 episodes the first time around. It wasn't particularly difficult to do just 24 episodes, unless they weren't confident in this like succeeding. But there is a confidence in Haramiya considering how many times it's been adapted and how many times it's been made into different web series and manga and things like that. So as a person who has read the original manga, yeah, there's a reason why it was in that cohesive story. It was in that story the first time around. So yeah, it's a real shame that they've done it this way, which is they did the first main story and then they're adding they're doing like flashbacks from the original flashback stories, which is yeah, I don't particularly appreciate. But 6 out of 10, it's fine. It still has that Haramiya charm. I am like, it's good that these characters are still here, but considering that all the emotional payoffs have been made in the main anime, there's nothing that excites me watching this because we know how the story is already going to end, so nothing in particular really excites me with this. Even what's the name of the green haired girl? Yeah, Sakura, Kono Sakura. There's a few moments where she's like, oh hey, I'm gonna try and impress the purple hair. I'm going to impress Toru. But we know she doesn't end up with him because that's how Haramiya ends, which is like she gives up on her, like Sakura gives up on Toru so that Yuki can like still be friends with him. So yeah. So yeah, that's my thoughts on this, which is it's good that Haramiya is back, but I am disappointed that this wasn't just included in like the original series. Anyway, moving on. Saint Cecilia and Pastor Lawrence, and I am hoping to get a video on this by the end of this week, but I have boldly scored this at a 7 out of 10, and because I think it's very cute. It's a romance anime. I do find that the romance aspect of it has been highlighted here, which is yeah, there's that. Call a foxy pirate with a anti-LGTV flag says good night. Good night. It shouldn't be too late for you Americans. Well, okay, it's 9:25 p.m. for some of you, so I guess considering it's still a school night, you should be going off to bed now. It's still a weekday, so you should be going to bed now. But anyway, sorry. Hit the mic again. Saint Cecilia and Pastor Lawrence. It's certainly a very cute anime, and I've boldly scored it as a 7 out of 10 because I really like it. The TLDR is it's very cute. It's got the animation and the art style look fantastic, and it is genuinely a Christian anime, which PK Slippy on Twitter has jokingly said, which I'll hopefully include in the main video. So yeah, it's actually like got a pastor in it, and it's got like a saint, which yeah, the theology in this is very weird, and I will address that, but yeah, in the main video. But I think it's still a good, like, if I was a Japanese person who knew nothing about Christianity, and if I was first exposed to this anime, and if I was exposed to this anime and first exposed to Christianity through this way, I think it's a good starting point. It's certainly not going to give you like the good news of the gospel. It's not going to give you Jesus, but it's a good stepping point in terms of introducing Christianity and like giving a positive spin to Christian representation. And I think that's the net positive that this anime brings, which is it gives a positive impression of Christianity. So yeah, there you go. Saint Cecilia and Pastor Lawrence. I'll certainly be very excited for when this anime comes out. All right, moving on. The girl I like forgore her glasses. Yeah. Again, another bold 7 out of 10, which is, I think you can see. I have seen the discourse around this anime because it's got a lot of CG. It's got a disgusting amount of CG, but I still like it, and I still think it's very beautifully animated, despite its CG. So yeah, I like the story, and the premise is attractive. So it's like the girl I like forgore her glasses. That's the whole point of this anime, which is this guy will now protect her. There's some really good lines in it, and I think the dialogue is really good. And it's certainly from the middle school experience of being quite scared to talk to your crush and things like that. So yeah, it's realistic. I can say that. So yeah, but yeah, it's cute. We'll see if I make a Christian anime video on this. But I don't think I will. Even though I do like it. I don't think I will make a Christian anime video on this. We'll see where it goes. Not a lot of fan service, so I think that's the one thing that's going for it as well, which is why I might make a Christian anime video on this. I still haven't watched the 3rd episode has released today, so I haven't watched it yet, but I'll be sure to get to it. All right. And finally, the anime that we've all been waiting for, the anime which has certainly surprised me a lot, and an anime which I have been enjoying, which is Zom 100 Bucket List of the Dead. I am seriously considering putting this at a 9 out of 10, but and I'm seriously considering making a Christian anime video on this, but the fan service does worry me, which is why I'm gonna hold off on my endorsement on this before watching a bit more of it. I do want to watch more of it before I make a sweeping endorsement, because yeah, I think this is a very, very good anime. It's bursting with a lot of energy, not only a lot of energy, but it's also bursting with a lot of creativity, and I like that about anime which innovates, an anime which is surprising, an anime which is different, right? So yeah, from what I've watched, because if you didn't know this about me, I also really like, I am fascinated. Zombie media fascinates me, because I think that idea of like a civilization and society collapsing, what would you do in that situation? And I think also considering like the Christian element of it, which is if you call yourself a follower of Christ, how would you react in a zombie apocalypse? So yeah, like, would you react like all of those doom posters who say like, oh, it's the rapture is coming and it's the end of the world, so that means it's time to commit seppuku, right? Those are some of the things to consider in a proper zombie apocalypse. So that's why it's always fascinated me. Zombie media has always fascinated me because it's cool, right? It's a cool idea to think about. What would actually happen if you were in a zombie apocalypse? How would you react to everything? How would you react to the world around you? Would you commit a lot of crime and things like that? So yeah, a lot of things to consider, right? a lot of things to consider. But I think in particular, what I really enjoy about this is the optimism in it. I've recently just read I've recently just read World War Z, or I've listened to the audiobook of World War Z, and World War Z, despite the terrible movie that was released alongside the terrible movie adaptation, but World War Z itself, as a book, as a narrative, as a literary work, I think is very, very good. I think World War Z is also a very optimistic anime. Sorry, not anime, but World War Z is also a very optimistic zombie apocalypse book, because it's all about like fighting this war against the zombies and humans taking over what the zombies have taken. And I think Bucket List of the Dead is a bit different in that, because it does other things in its optimism, and it talks about like just living life, I suppose. Which is, yeah, I'll be very interested to see how this is treated. So while I'm holding off on the endorsement, I'm still enjoying the first 2 episodes that have been released on this, because yeah, it's a very optimistic anime, and I like it's different. It's a different zombie media thing. Absolute Defender says, "Trust me, My Happy Marriage is better than all of these except Zom 100." Okay. Let's see. My Happy Marriage. Let's take a gander at this. Okay. That looks promising. An 8.17. Huh. It's a Netflix. Oh, it's a Netflix boy as well. Huh. Okay. Maybe. I'll take a gander at it. How many episodes has it been? It will say here. It's only been 2 episodes in. All right. I will watch it because it's only 2 episodes in. So yeah, I'll add it to my list. That's my 6th anime for this season. Yeah, I'll leave it at watching. But yeah, okay. I'll definitely consider it Absolute Defender, and if I like it, I'll make a short about it. All right. Okay, I think that's it. So that's it in terms of anime for summer, and just going back over the spring anime. And yeah, it's nothing really excites me this season except Zom 100 Bucket List of the Dead. Saint Cecilia and Pastor Lawrence, I will be looking forward to that because it's an actual Christian anime. And yeah, I guess we'll also look at My Happy Marriage as well, as per recommended by Absolute Defender. All right. Considering I still have a bit of time to stream, so that's my Christian anime watch list for summer 2023. Since we have a lot of time, so yeah. Absolute Defender says, "I hope my suggestion doesn't disappoint. Thanks for being open-minded." Yeah, definitely. I mean, look, 8.17. And it's a Netflix anime as well. I'm quite surprised because Netflix anime is really good. Like anything that has the Netflix brand and it's an anime, it's actually surprisingly good. And I know Violet Evergarden was one of those Netflix anime. I'm trying to think of other Netflix anime that's on there. Oh yeah, Komi-san Can't Communicate. I know that's a Netflix funded one. But all the Netflix live actions are terrible. They are absolutely terrible, and nobody likes them. But the anime is actually pretty good. So yeah, I'll be excited to see what this gets. All right. All right. I wanted to address things on Twitter and what's happening on Twitter, because just recently, our boy Mike Winger, who I think is certainly a pioneer in the Christian media space, and I do like Mike Winger for that, because he certainly inspired me to make this channel, and certainly inspired me to like properly make like an explicitly Christian anime channel, because there are no Christian anime channels except for our friend Elijah over on Anime Relatable. But Mike Winger just recently put out a poll I live in California and am not financially struggling. Do you think I have a clear biblical mandate to leave California? If yes, please comment with specific scriptures that make this clear. I voted no in this, but as you can see, 9% of people voted yes. Considering 5,256 people voted in this, so 0.09, so about around 470 people actually voted yes for this. That yes, there is a biblical mandate to leave California. Pardon me, goodness. There is a biblical mandate to leave California. I don't think there is. I don't think there is. But the one main one is this one here, which I'll read to you because I think it's an interesting one, because I certainly don't think it is. But this verse does get thrown around a lot, which is, when they persecute you in one town, flee to the next, Matthew 10:23. You might be saying, I'm not being persecuted, and your opponents may be saying, yeah, not yet. In which case, there might be biblical precedent, but it's debatable. Just a thought. And I think Mike Winger has this response here, which is, would you consider this a mandate for Christians who are in places where they are persecuted to leave? I see this as a time, situation-bound instruction for a specific strategy during a particular season of short-term missions during Christ's earthly ministry. Pardon me. In the same passage, they are instructed not to go to towns of the Gentiles. I doubt you would see this as a mandate for all Christians of all time. They are also told not to take money or extra supplies. Would you also see this mandate as universal? Jesus later tells the same group to go out with supplies and to enter Gentile towns. So this is an important teaching, but not intended to be for all people for all time. Fleeing persecution is an option, but not a command. And certainly I think this is one of my biggest problems in terms of like conservative Christians or evangelical Christians in America, which is they don't want to actually engage in culture. They want to run away. They don't really want to defend anything. And yeah, they don't know how to fight back, except for maybe those in like the cult of personality in the Trump, those who are like Trumpists, right? Or in the cult of personality of Donald Trump. Other than that, I don't see like conservative Christians, like even Mike Pence. Mike Pence is supposed to be a conservative Christian, but as we saw from that absolutely that ridiculous interview, and I shouldn't say ridiculous, but that ridiculous response from Mike Pence, where he was like, "That's not my concern. That domestic issues aren't his concern." So yeah, that's one of my biggest problems with a lot of conservative Christians and a lot of evangelical Christians, which is they all want to run away. They don't really want to fix anything. And this is what certainly attracts me to, although I don't agree with everything Mr. Fuentes says, but a lot of the things that Mr. Fuentes stands for, he actually wants to defend something, and he actually wants to defend his culture, and he actually wants to do something about the things that are destroying this country. Sorry, not destroying this country, but destroying America in particular. So yeah, that's something to think about, which is, are you going to I think there's a lot of things where Paul also writes about how you are supposed to endure persecution as well. And I don't think there's anything wrong with enduring persecution. I think it's an option to say, like, if you cannot handle persecution, you can run away. But considering there's a lot of Christians, like, for example, in China, the underground church in China, which is one of the largest, one of the fastest growing Christian groups, just full stop, like the largest growing Christian group in the entire world, considering they're still saying in China, and some of the persecution in China is a lot worse than what you're considering in America. So yeah, there's a lot of things in regards to that, and it makes me I'm certainly disappointed in mainstream conservatives and mainstream Christianity, where they don't really have the desire to fight. And yeah, it's most rather unfortunate that that's the case. So yeah, yeah. Anyway, so that was some Twitter stuff. And yeah, Mike Winger, very based guy, I think. Certainly not very politically active and doesn't make a lot of political positions. But I don't think that's his. That's not his calling. Certainly, I think he makes a lot of good theological points, and I think he's very biblically based in that sense. Compound Fracture says, I'd say there's a point where strategic retreat is a wise option. I recently read a good article on that. Yeah, that is fair. That is fair. There is a strategic retreat, but if you can fight, like, I think most Americans are in the position, like most conservative Christians and most Americans are in the position to stand up for themselves and to properly fight back. In terms of policies and in terms of just vote. Like I know some of you might not view voting as a very particularly good thing, and you may think that the election is already has been like stolen or things like that, or the election's been already predetermined. But I think there is such a big there's such a big impact that voting makes. We saw this in 2016. Like, let me remind you, in 2016, there were so many people who said, no, like, Trump did not actually have a chance at doing anything, right? Trump didn't have a chance. And yeah, oh, sorry, I'm angry. I hope I wasn't angry the entire time. Anyway. But in 2016, when Trump won that election, there were a lot of people who were not confident in Trump actually winning that election. But people voted, and when people vote, that's when right-wingers actually show up to elections, and when right-wingers actually vote for the people who they want to vote for, then yeah, there are results that can come out from that. So yeah, there's that. All right. I also want to bring up something that was, I think, a month ago, but there was this. I've read this, and I think he's quite a prominent conservative, actually, considering like that's a very big follower count he has. I think this is unfortunate. So he says here, Mr. Owen Benjamin, he says there, it's weird that the nuclear blasts vaporized brick houses, but not the old-timey camera recording it. It's because nukes are fake. Hiroshima and Nagasaki had never had any fallout radiation. The whole narrative and all the evidence is absurd. And like everything about this is, oh my goodness. I want to say the reason why I'm actually very pro nuclear weapons. You might not know this about me, but after also studying international relations for a semester as well, I think it's only cemented my view that nuclear weapons are actually a net positive in society. The reason why is because we are living in the longest era of peace in human history. And when I mean that there have been no wars full stop, but there have been no wars between the major countries since World War II. Since 1945, there has not been a major war between the US, between the Soviet Union. There was a Cold War, but there wasn't a direct war between, there wasn't a direct war between communism and capitalism. There wasn't a direct war. There has not been, as much as the Chinese government wants to go to war with America, there is no way, there is no force in heaven or on earth that will compel the Chinese government to actually declare war on the United States of America. Same with the Russians, right? The Russians, there is no force on heaven or on earth that will compel the Russian government to actually declare war on the United States, and they will not declare war on any NATO member states. And the reason why is because of nuclear weapons. Nuclear weapons are the reason. Like, there's this doctrine called mutually assured destruction. That means that if two nuclear powers go to war with each other, no one wins because destruction is mutually assured, right? Both countries will be destroyed in a nuclear exchange. Because of that, nuclear weapons have certainly discouraged countries from going to war with each other since 1945. So yeah, since 1949, I suppose, when the Soviets got their bomb, got their first atom bomb. So yeah, in that, like, I see a lot of like anti-nuclear people. But yeah, if studying after studying international relations and looking how the world really works, which is the world international relations is all about power politics and who is the strongest, who are the hostile powers around the world, and who are the powers that are going to declare war on each other. And nuclear weapons, if you're a good way to deter an invasion from a foreign country is to increase the cost of invasion. So we saw this like in World War II, where Switzerland was not invaded by Germany, even though the Germans had a lot of plans to invade Switzerland. The German government at the time saw that a Swiss invasion would be so expensive that it wasn't worth it to invade Switzerland. So Switzerland defended like increased its defensive capability to the point that it deterred the Germans away. And nuclear weapons are the ultimate deterrence, which is if because every most of the major countries have nuclear weapons with each other, the cost of declaring a war has become so high that nobody declares war on each other these days. They may declare war on non-nuclear states, like between Russia and Ukraine, but and perhaps with China and Taiwan, but so long as you have nuclear weapons, you will be safe, right? No one's going to invade you. That's why North Korea and Iran in particular want nuclear weapons. It's because North Korea, like, no one's going to invade them now because, like, even though that they were on a de facto nuclear umbrella with the Chinese, nobody's going to invade. Like, no one's seriously considering a war with North Korea now that they have nuclear weapons. So yeah, it's good to think about these things because this is a very quite ridiculous quote, right? Which is, oh hey, nuclear weapons aren't really real, but they are real because they have prevented war. They have prevented a major war between the major countries for a very, very long time. We are living in the longest era of peace in human history, and I think that's a good thing that nuclear weapons have brought forward. Anyway, I think we'll wrap it up there. We're 46 minutes in, 47, nearing the 47-minute mark. It's a shame we didn't go to the hour, but yeah, it is what it is. We'll settle with that. Anyway, thank you very much, everyone, for joining me today on this Christian Anime Podcast, episode 3. I actually streamed for once, and I remembered that I'm actually a podcast. So if you would like to continue watching the foremost Christian voice on AniTube, and if you would like more content from the leading Christian voice on AniTube, then please do subscribe. Please do share my videos. Share the sponsored video as well, because that video is not doing quite as well right now, but I would like my sponsor to actually feel like their investment paid off. So yeah. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me, everyone. Thanks for you guys who have joined on me on this stream, and I will see you again, hopefully, next month, where I will stream again for another podcast. So, good night. God bless. Yeah. Oh, 2:49 a.m. You should be asleep. You should be asleep, Chuki. You really should be asleep. Okay. Good night, guys. Wherever you are. Good night. Good morning. Wherever you are. And ta-ra.